Hey there, in today's video, we're going to recap everything we've gone through so far, and we're going to go over the challenges, lessons, mistakes, and everything we've learned from opening up our location for 10 days and less than $10,000. The reality is that it cost us a little bit more than $10,000 and it took us a little bit longer than 10 days. But all in total, it was 18 days of work to get the first classes of people coming to the club, and it took us a little over $17,000 to get the location off the ground. And in today's video, while I'm talking and sharing the lessons, I'll show you B-roll clips of the actual build out of how we took the place, what we did, how did the construction go. We're gonna see the entire behind the scenes team and how they're working on the facility. I'm gonna show you some videos of the first classes and how everything came about. The original idea of launching this series was to document everything day by day and hire somebody externally to do the filming, and that ended up falling through as the budget for the actual film crew didn't fit within the budget of opening up that location, because we had a lot of things to take care of. And therefore I'm doing a little recap. I filmed some B-roll clips that are a little bit shaky, but I'll show you how it actually looked as we were building it. I'll show you the team behind the scenes. I'll show you pretty much everything. While I'm talking, I'll just read off some of the points here that I have listed out as initial ideas, as mistakes that we've done, and things that really didn't go as planned. And I'll just show you what is the reality, because it's super stressful. If you're ever opening up your first location, be prepared for a lot of stress, a lot of challenges, a lot of long nights, a lot of phone calls to deal with problems from vendors, contractors, staff. It's just the reality of it. But again, I'm super proud of the fact that we launched our location, that looking great, and it's our vision for what we had in mind, and we were able to accomplish that big goal of launching it. So the first things first, we had a massive problem with the location from the fact that the landlord just prepared it enough to lease it out, but there were so many underlying issues. There was an issue with the AC, there was a leak in the ceiling, there was humidity that was super high, and everything would slow up. So once we started putting in the laminate, it started going up and starting thickening, so we had to buy an extra equipment just to make sure the humidity is gone. There were a lot of dirt and other issues piled up that were kind of hidden, and we didn't realize a lot of the things coming in. So we had to budget extra couple $1,000s just to make sure we renovate the ceiling, we get the humidifier, we change the AC. So we had to do some extra work that we didn't really plan for. And I'm sure you're going to face similar issues, especially if it's your first location and you don't know what you're looking for. And even if you do, there's often many hidden things that unless you spend a couple of days, weeks, and months in a location, you wouldn't know. Maybe it's the neighbors, maybe it's the area, maybe it's the actual location of having similar problems. Now, on the positive side, given that we had these challenges, this allowed us to negotiate a good deal on the rent and pretty much recoup all that cost back in the long run. Another thing that we faced as an issue is that all the contractors gave us massive quotes on how much they would want for paint, for laminate, for all the details that we wanted to have the club with, and custom building the bar. Luckily enough, we had the material, so they just needed to modify and change some of the existing materials we've got and put in place a custom project for our bar area and the wellness area. But we try to save costs as much as possible, so we did our own painting, we did our gym flooring, so we placed it all ourselves, we changed the lights ourselves. We had one of our old clients come down to give us a hand, so we didn't pay for electric, we didn't pay for painting, we didn't pay for the gym flooring. We got a guy to help us with the laminate flooring. Again, we had some existing laminate flooring laying around, so it ended up costing not a lot of money, just a couple $100s for the work, and buying some glue for the sides and just having that done. So this is, when it comes to construction, another thing that we didn't plan is because they had this thick orange paint everywhere. We had to paint 3 coats over the orange just to hide it. And once we painted it white, we realized about the humidity issue, because they painted orange because everything turns yellow from the humidity, and on the orange you can't really spot it, but once you paint white you can see where all the issues are, and all these white spots turn yellow. So then we figured out that we got to get a humidifier, we got to get an AC to properly dry up the space to ensure that in the future clients don't smell the humidity and we don't have issues with the white turning yellow. We had to spend entire 3 days of cleaning everything, and for us to throw a lot of the stuff out, usually need a permit to be taking the trash out, and you need to buy a container for $1,000. And we didn't have that within our budget. So what we did is we literally carried by hand small bags of the trash, and we would throw it in the areas in the proximity. But that took a toll on our bodies, as it was just the three of us. So literally every night I would come back home and everything would ache. And from the humidity, I could feel the pain in my fingers, being numb. It was just an unpleasant experience, and the construction is probably one of the worst things. Now, whilst we were building that, we got Annie, the girl that's going to be helping us out with the social media and putting together the plan for TikTok and Instagram, and just having some content as we launch, to film and do the nutrition bar menu. So we filmed out all the shakes, we calculated a recipe. So we spent an entire day just doing that to calculate the margins, to make sure everything looks great and feels great. So this was something that we did in between. And some of the challenges there were that on most of the items, the margins were super thin. So it would have required a lot of work just to put together the product. But at the end of the day, to have something that both tastes good and is amazing for the customer, gives them enough protein, enough carbs, and all the good stuff, and yet is priced reasonably, was a challenge for us. So we had to revamp the whole menu and change the idea we had in our head. We had to simplify our menu a lot more than we initially thought. We wanted to include a lot more variety, options, shakes, but we just didn't have the time to come up with all the recipes. So we kept it very simple. We added 5 staples that are going to be the core of the menu. And then we added a few signature drinks just to have something branded for our location. So this was one of the things. Another thing that we faced an issue with was the piping. Actually, we realized that there was a big issue with the toilets. They were very old school and they weren't working properly. So we had to reinstall the toilets. This again cost us a little bit of money. Luckily enough, I traded up some items that I had laying around in my house, like chairs, extra laminate, and things like that, with the piping guy, with the water and heating company. So they didn't charge us for service. We exchanged services. In a way, I gave them away some miscellaneous items such as chairs, tables, and laminate flooring and things like that, in exchange of them installing the toilets and fixing the sink and just doing some minor work on that. And then I had a friend of mine installed the tiling on the wall, which again I didn't pay for. I had some tiles laying around just to add a little bit of accent to the place. And then all the green plants and extra dumbbells I had from my previous club, so I ended up not paying for all of that as well. So this again fit in my budget. If I have to be completely honest, if you would have to build such a location from scratch, decorating it, installing the flooring, buying the weights, it would probably cost you upwards of 25 to 30,000. You can go a little bit lower, but again, it depends on your location, where you get your items from. I would get everything secondhand from the Facebook marketplace. I would negotiate with the local vendors. I'll try to buy in bulk, but again, it's going to cost you a little bit more than what I'm quoting here in this video. We saved quite a bit on our budget, given that we negotiated everywhere possible. We try to be resourceful rather than pull out resources. The next thing we faced a challenge with was the fact that we opened up our location during the summer months, and usually the summer is very low. So naturally, everybody's going on a vacation and taking weeks off. So we had some of our team take a couple of weeks off, and that meant that it slowed down the actual opening, because the initial plan for a grand opening was to have all the team members that are going to be supporting the location, so all the trainers, the admin staff, and the person helping us with the social media, be there to actually share it with their friends and circle of influence, so we get some early momentum going on. But the fact that they were taking vacations didn't allow for us to actually do the grand opening, so we delayed that. I'll show you clips of how it came about. We had about 35 people come into the actual grand opening, which was great. And we started running some classes even before the actual opening, started pre-selling some of the programs. So that was great. And I'll just show you also a clip of how the entire location came about. It's not perfect. It's not ideal. There's still some items laying around and not being finished, but sometimes you got to just take imperfect action. And that's the prime example of it. We've been now in business for a couple of months and we still have items that are laying around and everything is not done perfect. But again, we're getting it done. We're getting people through the door. We're getting them transformations. We're helping them get results. And that's all that matters. So if you're launching your first location, try to not think of having everything perfect and have that perfect, gym floor and then the perfect area for like a lounge area or a perfect entrance. Even if things are not perfect, people would appreciate your effort and thought you put into the place, and they'll appreciate good service. They'll appreciate getting good results. So don't get in your head, just get it off the ground. And the fact that we committed to launching the location for 10 days and $10,000 helped with just that, to take massive action, try to be resourceful, try to be creative and get things off the ground as soon as possible. Because if we didn't give ourselves that constraint of both time and money, we probably would have taken a couple of months to get the location off the ground. So these are some of the things. We got lucky in a sense that the location didn't need any massive rebuilds. That was pretty good. Now, when it comes to the digital side, everything went pretty smooth. I had to build the website myself, and I'll show you a picture on the screen of how it came about. I think it looks pretty neat, pretty good. So we had a beautiful website done for launching the club. We had good photos of the trainers done. I took my camera and pretty much took the photos myself. I printed it out in a local shop, so we look professional. We got our Tanita hooked up, so we were able to print out results for the customers. So whoever came in through the doors got a free wellness evaluation, got a consultation. So that was great again. And another thing that we really didn't do as planned was to actually launch the marketing on time. We primarily relied on Circle of Influence for the launch, and we announced a couple of the nearby partners. We didn't have the time to execute on the 5 core elements when it came to marketing, like I suggested, just because I was too busy of actually running the construction, managing team, and pretty much doing everything that had to be done to get the location ready within the time frame. So I didn't have the time to execute on the marketing, and I was the person responsible for it. So it's all on me. And we didn't run any social media advertising. We didn't run a giveaway, and we just mass blasted our personal social media list, invited all our friends, family, and this is how we got the location going. This is how we got the initial classes to fill up. I don't want to create an unrealistic expectation that if you're just starting out, you're going to be able to build the location in $10,000 in 10 days. It's just going to be a lot more than that, and just plan to have a couple of months saved up of expenses just in case some stuff go wrong, because for us, we had to change some of the things within the location. We had to modify some things when it came to construction. It costed a little bit more, but then again, we started slowly, but the location is now up and running. The team is managing that. I'm supporting them, and we're a few months later. I finally get a chance to sit down and record a recap of the lessons we learned, and I actually managed to sell the location and get out of the operations completely. I have a partner that's going to be managing the location now, and I'll share in the next video of how we did that. I'll share some clips of like the website we've put together, the social media, so you can get an idea of things that you can do for a successful location. And hopefully you found some valuable tips within this series. Kind of felt rushed through as I had to share a lot of details, and I didn't have the time to go granular. Else the videos would have been 2 hours long each, because in each sub bullet point that we discussed, there are so many nuances and so many details that it's very hard to capture within a 10-minute, 15, 20, or even 30-minute video. But in the future on this channel, my vision is to be sharing all the tips, tricks, and lessons in a greater detail and breaking down each subtopic of how you can grow your health and fitness business, whether that's going to be online or in person. And if you're ever looking for somebody to partner with and plug into a proven system that already works and save yourself some energy, time, and money, make sure you check the link in the description. Again, fill out the details, get on a call with us, and maybe we'll be able to help, maybe not, who knows. But again, hopefully you found value in this series. Make sure you drop your comments below in regards to launching your very own location. I'm always happy to hear back from you, and it really helps us get ideas on the type of content we should be creating. So yeah, excited that you've been part of that journey, and I'll see you in the next one.